Hey guys, it's been a while since I worked on this project, but today we're going to continue and we're going to go through these tasks. So the first thing I want to do is to fix the date on the comments, because if I go to the page now and into one of the courses, I think this has comments, you'll see here that this doesn't make much sense, so let's change that. So if I go back to the code and open up settings.py, now we can actually do this configuration here in the REST framework. So here we just a date time format, and then we pass in %d for the day, dot %m for the month, and %Y for the year, and then space, %h for the hour, colon, %m for the minute, and add the comma there. So if I save now and refresh, go into the lesson 1 again, this looks much better. And then this will be the default date format we use in the REST framework requests. So that was task 1 done. Next step is to create a component for the comments, because if I go into the course.vue, this file is beginning to be very long and not very maintainable. So if I scroll up here, we had a folder called components. I want to create a new file called course comment.vue. And then in here we begin with the empty template tag. And we can also add a script tag as well. In here we just want to say export default. And then set the props we're going to use. We're going to use one property for the comment which we want to pass in to this component, so it's reusable and dynamic. If I now go back to course.vue, where we loop through each of the comments. Here I want to copy all of this and then just paste it in here. I don't want to loop through the comments here, I just want to loop through or show the comment information. So just remove these 2 lines and we can move this up to the same line so it's clean as possible. So then we can save this and go back to course.vue, and we can begin by importing the component we just created. So below here we say import course comment from @component/course comment. And then we also need to register this. We can do that at the top here, components. Make this an object list like that and save. So now this should be available to be used up in the template. So if I scroll up again where we loop through the comments, we can remove these 2 and instead we can say course comment and close it like this. But if we save now, I think we'll get an error. Okay, the error isn't there, but the problem is that we haven't bound this yet. So we can do that with a v bind, and then we pass in the comment, but we also need to bind this to a name comment. And this comment is what we use here, and this is the value we get in there. So if I now refresh, click lesson 1, we get these back. Everything is as it was, but the code is a little bit better because now we only have these lines. So then the task number 2 was done. I can go here and set done. Before I continue, I just want to say thanks to all of my patrons. If you too want to support me, you will find a link in the description below. Next, I want to do the same thing for add comment. So I want to do this for this form here. This is a little bit more complicated because here we need to get information back from this form submission. So when this is submitted, we need to get back from the component. But let's begin by creating the file. So go up to here and say add comment.vue. Create a template tag. And we'll create a script tag. Oops. And then export default here as well. Okay, so we want one property here. So props. Make this an object, a list. And in here we say course. So we want to know which course we are on and the active lesson we are on as well, because this needs to be tied to the comment. And then we can add the data property, return comment, and here we want the name, set this default to empty, and content default to empty. And I also want a list of errors, like that. That can also be empty for now. And then I also want a list of methods. So methods, object, and then I can go back to course.vue because I want to copy one of these functions, and that is the submit comment. So just copy, remove it from there, like that, go to add comment, and paste it in here. So here you can see that we are using Axios. We need to import it here. Import Axios from Axios, like that. And then there are probably some other things we need to do here. So we check the name and the content and the errors. So this.course, this needs to be changed to route.params.slug, like that. So this is now the slug that we find here. No, sorry, this one. And then I want the active slug as well. So this.active lesson points to the property up here. So then instead of pushing this to the list of comments, which we don't have access to here, we need to emit this back to the course component here. And to do that we say this.emit, $emit, and then we want to call a new function there called submit comment. And the data we want to go send back is response.data. And then everything else here can just be like it is. So then the next step then is to go back to course.vue, scroll up and find the submit form. So just take the whole form, remove it from here, go back here and paste it there. Then we fix the indentation. And then as you can see here, we use the submit comment function, which calls this function, which again calls the submit comment function we are going to use here. So let's begin by importing this component. Import add comment from @component /add comment. So then it's imported, but you need to register it like that. And then we can insert it up here below the list of comments. So then we say add comment, and on the next line I want to bind the course we are on to the property. So v bind course, and here we just say course, because this is available down in the data array down here. And I also want to bind the active lesson, so v-bind active lesson, and I also want to say v-on submit comment. So this is a listener, so we listen to this emit event here, and this name is the same as we have here, and this is a function we're going to add to this file very soon. So now we can just close this, and if we then scroll down to the methods list, we can add it here, submit comment, and here we want the comment object, and this comment object is this response.data, which is information like the ID, the name, and the content, and similar. So then we can here just say this.comments.push comment. Now we push this comment into the list of comments. So now I just want to remove this one because we don't need that anymore. So now we can save everything. No errors right now, so we can try this. Go back to lesson 1. code hi, submit, and it was added, and that means that everything is now working. And the code here is now even better, because now all of this is moved into 2 separate files, which make this much easier to maintain. So then we can set this task to done, and then I want to create a component for the quiz, because if you see here, this is quite long and it doesn't actually have anything in this file to do. It's much better to split things into components. So again, we create a new file, quiz.vue, begin with the template tag and the script tag, export default, and here I want a few properties, I think, maybe just one. Yes, props. I only want the quiz property here. Again, close this. And then I want to add the data property, return. If I go back to course.vue, you can see which fields here are connected to the quiz. So it's the selected answer and the quiz result. They should still be there. So take these two, remove them from the list, and paste them in here instead. And then if I scroll down, I think here should be a submit quiz method. So take all of this, go back to quiz.vue, create a new list here for the methods, and paste it in there. So now we moved everything there. You can see that the quiz result is there, the selected answer is there. The rest here is okay, because it's not connected to course.vue. So then I can go back here again and find the template for the quiz. So it's actually the H3 and down to there. So take all of this, go in here again, and then we need to add a div here. I'll explain very soon, and paste it into there. And the reason why we need this div is because this template expects only one child element. But now it should be okay. So then I can save that file. Now we need to go back to course.vue again and import it. Sorry, I import it at the top there. Quiz. And also register it with the list of components. Now we can just go up here again. Now we can say quiz. And we want to bind this, pass in the quiz, and quiz there. Like that. So now this file looks even better, because now there isn't too much data here and it will be much easier to work with it. So if I go back, refresh, go into the lesson with quiz, I can test this. This Django, it's a web framework. Correct. Nice. So let me go to the to-do list and set this to done. Next, I want to clean up the add comment function. So if I just copy this, search for it, then this is inside the views.py, inside the course folder. So you can see here, I only use the name one time down there. So I can just say this, paste it there, and the content for the comment can also be replaced there. So then I don't need to add them there anymore. So it's a little bit cleaner. And that was actually it, because I just wanted to do that, because it's good to clean up small things like this whenever you have the chance. For example, here as well, if I just replace this, you don't need to define the data like that. So then this is done. And next I want to set a better URL base name, because if I open up the main.js, you'll see that this is the URL file. But I want to add API/v1 here and a slash at the end, because then I can make all of the other API calls much cleaner, because then I can remove all of this. Just remove it, and I can search for all of the other occurrences of this. Okay, there were a few of them in add comment. can now only say courses because now it's in that file. Remove it there, oops. In course.vue I have it. So the more we can clean up places like this where we multiply our code, the better the code will be and easier to maintain. So I could probably just do a mass replace function with this, but it's easier to just explain what we do when I can show you like this. Save. So now all of this is just nothing with this file. So refresh, and I still get the lessons and everything here is working. Perfect. So that means that I can go to the to-do list and set the last task to done like that. And that was it for this part. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please hit like below. If you want me to add more content to this series, also add a comment below if you have any suggestions. See you in the next video.